Hello, everybody. I am live this Friday. Hold on, let me make sure that the chat is moving. Let me put this chat up. I had to take it out for a second. Welcome to my channel, everybody. Please get those likes up when you come on in. This is a live right now. It affects the algorithm. People will know when I'm live and when I am posting. Okay, let me put the chat on my screen for a second. I don't know if the notifications have gone out, but let me check on my phone to see how many of you are here so we can get right on into these news stories. If there's any issues with the audio, I'm sure, as usual, a lot of you will let me know if there's any issue. Hold on for a second. Y'all might hear something. Hold on. Testing one, two, three. Okay, I have 3 people in here. So if you're new in and you missed something, you can just always rewind it, go to the replay. Okay, so I want to talk about some things going on in the news in our world. You see a little bit on the screen as usual. There's always more to talk about. Okay, y'all like my little cartoon face? Y'all like my little cartoon? Hey, Amber. That's me as a little cartoon. I love it. It's just so cute. It's so cute to me. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's see, the first thing that I want to talk about is, hold on for a second. Okay, yeah, this is the first thing that I want to talk about is Missy. Missy is going to do a tribute to Aaliyah at the Essence Music Festival. You know, I've always wanted to go to the Essence Music Festival for so many years. It's in Louisiana and I've never gone. Leave a heart in the chat if you've gone to the Essence Music Festival and tell us in the chat, what was it like? I did hear the complaints about it from last year because, again, it was a very severely African theme with jollof rice and everything like Ghanaian and Nigerian, and it's supposed to be about Black American culture. And a lot of people were complaining about it. I don't mind eating jollof rice though. Like, it's okay to have some of that there. I'll try it. I think I might have had it before. It was kind of good if it was that. Okay, so Missy is going to do a tribute to Aaliyah, and I know that it's going to be absolutely amazing. Aaliyah and Missy together, 1 in a million. Up jumps the boogie. Remember, up jumps the boogie jumps to me. Up jumps the boogie. Keep it up, we gon' show you how we party. Hot like fire. Love hot like fire. I mean, Missy, Timberland, and Aaliyah, super friends, just absolutely amazing. She actually got the approval from her family. I'm assuming Rashad and her mother to go ahead and do this tribute. And I love it. We got to keep Aaliyah's memory alive. And I always continue to do that, and I will continue to do so because she's absolutely legendary. Okay, so let me show you the next thing.
All men cheat. All men cheat, baby. Sprinkle, sprinkle. And I told y'all all men cheat, so might as well date a rich one. It hurts more to get cheated on by a dusty. Go get you one with money who's giving you thousands instead of hundreds. That way, when you find out he's cheating, you still have thousands in your bank account. All men gonna cheat. Make sure you find one with some money. All men cheat. All men.
Well, I mean, she was showing it. She was showing it. You had Jay-Z and Beyonce, Adriana Lima and her man, he cheated. Who else? Eva Longoria and her man, I mean, they were all over the place and he cheated. Hmm. Lamar Odom, was that Chloe? I think that's Chloe Kardashian. And he was cheating with multiple women. And black men were praising this relationship all over the place, putting black women down. all over the internet putting black women down, and yet he ended up having an overdose and was cheating on her with prostitutes. Who else we got? Who else we got? Neymar, he's one of the most popular soccer players in the entire world. So she's showing, let's do this one more time. One more time. All right, so she's basically showing this person put this thing together with She-Ra. Like, if you're gonna date a man, you might as well have a man who's taking care of you because they all gonna cheat on you. And I'm sorry to tell, I don't want to tell women this, but it's pretty much true. I have never known a man in my entire years on earth that didn't cheat. None, none, none. That includes men in the family, men I've dated, women in my family who dated men, women on the job that I know, every woman that I've known. I ain't know not one man that was faithful. So what does that tell you? You can be in La La Land all you want to and delude yourself to believing that just because he's nice and all good, he ain't cheating. They cheat too. It's just better when you don't find out about it. It's different if I don't know. It's one thing if I don't know, but if the woman's calling my house and disrespecting me, and I don't, you get slapped upside your head. I don't want a man that's bold with his cheating. I don't want him cheating, period. But I've never met a man who don't cheat. And just because these are the most beautiful women in the world, they still got cheated on because men get bored. You might think, but that's Beyonce, that's Holly Berry, that's Adriana Lima. Yeah, but they know them. They've been talking and dating them for years. They get bored of them, and then men always say they want some new pussy. Ain't no pussy like new pussy. That's what men say. That's what they love to say. They get an itch. They get bored. And in some cases, that's not even the case. They just can't keep it in their pants. A number of them, especially when they're rich. They think, shit, I got options. I got all this money. I don't just have to sleep with one punani the rest of my life. You crazy? That's what a number of them think. Like, hell no. I want the platter. I want the buffet. Some of them want bussy. They want bussy too. So it's a damn shame. So I wonder if Beyonce ever creeped on Jay-Z. Leave a heart in the chat if you think Beyonce has had an affair of her own that Jay-Z don't know not a damn thing about. Jay-Z don't know a damn thing about it and never will. Leave a heart if you think that Beyonce has had her own affair, being that he's had several. Shit, she ain't just gonna sit there and take that shit. She got fantasies, men she want too, that look better than him. She said, who the hell you think you are? Thinking you gonna cheat on me and I look the way I look. Shit, I got men I want. Oh, you want to sleep with 7 women? How about I get me a few? Leave a heart if you think Beyonce's done it. And he don't know a damn thing. Okay, only one heart so far. They hinted at her cheating, actually. Beyonce. The best feeling in the world. That's why it's addicting. Oh my God. How could you say that? Are you a woman or a man? But why should I be shocked if you're saying that? Ain't no bullshit like new bullshit. If that's what you're saying in this chat. Ah, you no good man. You no good man. No good. Who do you think you are? You better not cheat on me. You better not. And you better pray I don't find out. Okay? Ain't nothing like a man who can screw you real good. And if your man can't do it, we got a problem. You don't cheat, though. I don't believe it. You already gave yourself up that you were cheating. No good. Oh, I'm just so appalled hearing this. Okay, so let's go to the next topic.
Toni Braxton. She still looks phenomenal. Toni Braxton posted this picture a day ago. And we're not going to say anything. We're just going to keep letting this shit slide. Like, they're playing in our face at this point. We're not going to... Toni Braxton is a vampire. There's no way in the world She's been out since Love Should Have Brought You Home and 7 Whole Days and all that, and you still look like that. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the vampires in the industry and the ones who sit on the board. The great Iman, vampire and board member. Iman has been out since the 1800s. I'm pretty sure that when Nostradamus was making predictions, she was right there. Remember Jacqueline Smith from Charlie's Angels? Vampire. She's not a board member, but she's definitely a vampire. Sade, better known as Akasha. She's the head vampire and head of the board. When new vampires be coming in to get bit, she be looking at them and she sit at the board or the table. She's like, why should we accept you? Gwen Stefani, vampire and board member. Will Smith, vampire. Janet Jackson, vampire and board member. She's been around since 1802, 1803. I don't know. It was early 1800s, but vampire and board member. Cheryl Lee Ralph, definitely a vampire. And definitely on the committee. Look at that cheekbone and everything. She's amazing. Patti LaBelle is a vampire and board member, and not only is she a board member, she sits directly to the right of Akasha. Pharrell's a damn warlock. There's no way he's looked like this since 1403. When the settlers came, honey. He was riding horses and shit back then. J-Lo sliding on her knees on the Super Bowl halftime. Honey, I would need a gurney to pick me up if I slid on my knees. I probably would never walk again if I did that at this age. And she wants us to believe, oh, I'm just turned 50. Go and sit your lying ass down somewhere. Vampire and board member, and she sits to the left of Akasha. Vivica Fox is a daywalker. Period. There's nothing to talk about, negotiate, or discuss. Look at this. This is a magnificent piece of work. And you want us to believe that you're human? And you came out on that show out all night? I'm tired of this shit. Y'all know RuPaul got bit. Here come Queen Latifah. She's celebrating her 18th birthday. Crystal Fox from In the Heat of the Night. We see you. Trying to lay low. She been out since the 1800s. We see you. Mary is wanted for questioning. Sheree from the Housewives wanted for questioning. Naomi is queen of the damned.
And they all do look good. They look great. They'll say black don't crack, but sometimes it does. You know what? These are celebrities. You got to remember, these women and men are not eating what we all eat. They eat organic food. They have a diet. You better believe Tony Braxton, Naomi Campbell, Sheree. Sheree works out. They bodybuild, they dance, they drink mostly water. I know J Lo for a fact only drinks water at large. They eat a lot of salads and salmon and meat. They have Holly Berry has diabetes, so she does the keto diet. She shared what she eats. It wasn't a lot of food at all, but they work out. So believe me, they're not just walking around looking this good. Okay, they put on lotion, shea butter. They try not to have a lot of stress. They mainly drink water and fruit juices, but mainly water. They eat vegetables and meat, mainly kind of like the Atkins diet. Okay, they do eat, but they don't eat like regular people. And I say that because regular people, most of us are overweight to some degree, and they're entertainers. They're under contracts that we don't know about that tell them you must maintain your weight. You have an obligation to be this weight, this height, and this weight. They're always singing and dancing, running. They have equipment in their home, workout gyms in their home. And what they eat very healthy. A lot of them do. They're very strict. I've seen them say, well, if I do drink something, it'll be a little glass of wine. I think Tony Braxton said that, a glass of wine, Holly Berry. And again, I know Sheree works out, and working out, baby, toning the muscles up, making sure you get your protein in. So, and being, look, a lot of black people, we do age well. We do. Even though we do pass away early too, because internally we're suffering from illnesses internally, but we do age very well. But sometimes, look, if you're smoking, that will age you. Smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, drinking too much, being an alcoholic, always having a lot of anger and stress on you can age you. Um, and in some cases it's genetically, you just can age quicker, but a lot of times we do, take care of yourself, put on that lotion. You don't always have to have lotion on, but we're known to wear lotion more than a lot of people to make sure that skin ain't crackling up all the time and stuff like that. So okay, so yeah, they look good and they're still performing, doing the damn thing. Okay, even Lisa Ray, I talked about this before, but I just wanted to revisit this because it upset something in my soul. Because I said it's true, but I noticed that black women are always comparing. We're culturally, we are very similar to white Americans. I don't care what anybody says. You could have more success dating a white American than a black person from a foreign country because of culture clashes. In America, black and white people, we grew up together, we've had differences and we've had similarities. We're intertwined with each other. We like the same holidays. We use the same phrases. We have dated and liked each other and had racism. All of that together from since the 1300s up in here. Okay? But I noticed that there is still some cultural differences. Like people might say we love sweet potato pie and white people love pumpkin pie. White people love green bean casserole and we don't really fuck with no green bean casserole. I have had some green bean casserole before that was kind of good. That's not something we traditionally are known to like to eat that much, but we still have similarities but differences too. Lisa Ray says a black woman could never prosper being ran through like Taylor Swift. But again, I noticed that black women will get on TikTok and act like white men are your men. When you complain, who are you talking to? You're not a woman from India. You're not Arabic. You're not Hispanic. So, what men are you complaining about that's not letting you prosper? Because last time I checked, white men do not monitor who we sleep with. They don't yell at us about having a sex life. White women and white people, period, are more freer than other people. They go to nude beaches. They marry women who have had a sex life, who've slept with multiple men. You might call her a whore. She has 3 husbands. White people are different than a lot of other people. They're more freer sexually. And this is a fact. Black men are the ones who ruin black women's reputations and career. Okay? When have you seen a lot of white people bothering Holly Berry or Beyonce about who they slept with or Megan Thee Stallion? They don't care. It is black men every time Lori Harvey or Megan Thee Stallion sleep with someone, they make memes and diss you and talk about you. You won't have a career that's successful for being a so-called hoe, not because of white people, because white people don't have a problem with white women being a hoe. That's because black men are going to tell the whole world you're a hoe and ruin your brand and your reputation. It is not other races of men doing this to you at large. White men today, they are getting a little bit more red pill. I've been seeing this being influenced by Andrew Tate and shit, and that Nick Fuentes gay dude or whatever. That's true. But overall, look at that Bonnie. What's that woman doing all that corn? Bonnie or Bunny Hill or something? What's that woman? Bunny, Blue Bunny or something her name is, sleeping with hundreds of men? Those women still end up with husbands. Shit, a white woman can do all types of freaky deaky movie scenes and movies and still be hyped up and married. Pamela Anderson and shit. Black women, it don't happen for black women. It's not because of white people. It's because of black people. White people don't diss women who are freaky deaky. Not traditionally, that you might see it a little bit more now. Not usually. White people are free. They are sexually free. They don't have hangups about having sex when you're young and going to nude beaches and having an orgy and meditating, having sexual meditations. Remember that? Remember HBO used to have all those freaky deaky shows and it was white people meditating on mud and having orgasms in the mud and all types of craziness. They're just more free. They don't care how many men Taylor Swift had. So why do black women get online complaining about it? Who are you complaining to? White people for not being bothered that Taylor Swift has had many men? Are they supposed to apologize to us or something, or say, I'm sorry? You're mad because you feel you can't be a hoe in peace, but whose fault is that? That's black men and black women's fault. Monitoring every time you sleep with somebody, making memes about it, and calling you a hoe as a black woman. White people only follow what black people promote. They come to the black community to see who's popping, who's popular, and then make them mainstream. And if your community is dissing you and saying you ain't this and you ain't that, they might be hesitant to promote you because it's about money. They need you to be marketable. They need you to be able to bring in money. So you need to have the support of your people and be appealing to everybody so that they can make money off of you. And if your race is constantly putting you down like a fucking hoe, it can affect the money. White people don't do that to their women like that. Plus, you don't run this shit. They run shit. Shit. Didn't Kareen Steffens get married and cheat on the man she married? I don't think she got married. She was still able to date some high profile men, but they wouldn't marry her all the time. She might have married that guy from Family Matters, but he ain't popular. I mean, he hasn't had a career since back in the day. And then they broke up. I don't know what happened with that because she says she won't leave Lil Wayne alone or something like that, you know? So when black women get mad, I notice that we make it sound like we're the same as white women or we're being judged the same. Look, white people are not tripping in their community about who their hoes are that much. And then you get mad, well, why come I can't? Who are you complaining to? Because white people are not the ones saying, they're not saying you can't be a hoe in peace and you can't have a sex life. That's black men. Every time a black woman has some sex with a man or got a new boyfriend, they call her a 304 and a thought all over the internet. And she can't keep a man and this and that. That ain't coming from white people. The only white people who might join in are the ones who didn't like black women to begin with. And they want to join in with lowering black women even more because we get lowered by our own race of people. So black people need to really look at it and think who is really making black women feel bad for having sex. Is it really white people in white society, or is it your race that keeps doing that and fucking up these women's careers and reputations? Why do you expect white people to bother Taylor Swift about the men she's had? They're not doing that. She's the biggest star in the world. She represents them and they know it. They're not about to put her down and ruin her fucking reputation in life. She represents them and they have the power. So don't expect that ever to happen. You need to go and look at why is it that your community, and I don't care, people might say, are you saying, Cerebral, you should be able to be a hoe? Yeah, if you feel like it, go ahead. You don't own my pussy. I can fuck who I want to fuck. Excuse my language. I don't owe you an explanation. I'm grown. If I want to sleep with somebody, I can. What you gonna do about it? I'm just being real with you. I don't owe anybody an explanation. And just because I said that don't mean that I am a so-called one. But if I felt like it, what you gonna do? Who are you to police my damn coochie? I'm grown. And the biggest hoes that criticize so-called hoes, it take a hoe to know a hoe. Don't ever call me one, bitch. How many women have you fucked and men? Before you say anything to me, you don't know what I've done. Okay, so, and nor is it your business. So, let's just go into the next topic, Lord. Excuse my mouth. Sorry, y'all. Okay. Parents are charged with murder after their 7-year-old son passed away, weighing 255 pounds at just 4'2". Damn. Usually it's the reverse. Usually it's the reverse. Usually they're starving the child. They're usually starving the baby. This time it's the opposite. The baby passed away from being 255 pounds at 7 years old. So, how often do you honestly hear of the parents being charged with murder? Damn. It says that they were arrested because their child weighed 55 pounds at just 4'2". This was in Michigan. Damien, oh Lord, Damien like the omen. Damien O'Brien, 40 years old, and his wife Jessica O'Brien, 41, have been charged with second-degree murder, torture, and multiple counts of child abuse and the death of their son Casper. He was 7 years old. He was only 4'2" and weighed a staggering 255 pounds. He died of heart failure in November of last year. Prosecutors say the child lived in a hoarder style home, never attended school, and received no medical care. Only one doctor visit in his entire life, despite being extremely obese and being immobile. Mm.
In my years as a prosecutor.
The parents of a 7-year-old boy who weighed more than 200 pounds face murder, child abuse, and torture charges. This story began to unfold on November 4th when a 911 call was made for a young boy in distress at a Flint Township home. He was rushed to a hospital, but he died. And Terry, the Genesee County prosecutor says this is just a terrible case of neglect.
Yeah, he does, Angie, and that's why his office has charged the parents with second-degree murder following the death of their 7-year-old Casper, their son. He was 50 inches tall and weighed 255 pounds when he died.
On the face of it, this is cruel and extreme suffering from this child caused by the neglect of the parents.
40-year-old Damien O'Brien and his wife, 41-year-old Jessica O'Brien, face the same charges in connection with the death of their 7-year-old son Casper. The most serious charge, second-degree murder. Flint Township Police came to this home on Dania on November 4th, 2025, for a report of a child in distress. Casper was taken to Hurley Medical Center, where he died a short time later. Medical reports indicate he weighed 255 pounds at the time of his death.
That's obesity. And then you also have the fact that this child did not have a pediatrician, was only taken to the doctor, I believe, according to the police reports, once.
The cause of death was dilated cardiomyopathy, which causes heart failure, with a contributing cause being morbid obesity. The CDC lists a healthy weight for a 7-year-old boy that is 50.5 inches tall, generally ranges between 50 and 73 pounds.
Lord, that's a damn shame. The baby ended up basically having a heart attack. 255 pounds, not even 5 foot tall. The baby was just 4'2". You know what? You know they wasn't teaching that child how to wash either. That child wasn't even washing. I can tell just by looking at him and reading the story. They neglected that baby. They didn't have him go to a doctor. They didn't even have the baby in school. The baby was just sitting home eating to death. Now they had enough money to feed the baby, but they weren't taking care of that child. So leave a heart if you think it's right that they were charged with murder of their own baby. Let's see, lock them up. I read he never went to school. The parents should be charged. Though those who abuse children deserve the worst imaginable. The government had no record of him or his sibling. Are you serious? So maybe the mama was just pregnant at home and gave birth at home and was keeping the baby a secret and just feeding the baby to death. So far, we got nothing but heart so far. So this is absolutely horrible. The baby's life is over from being fed to death. This is horrible. There are so many people, in my opinion, who do not deserve to have kids, who either starve the child, overfeed the baby, don't teach the baby how to read, don't teach the baby how to pee, wipe themselves, how to wash, all types of stuff. It's just disgusting. So they got them. Look at the parents. Look at their faces. They look terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I would be so depressed knowing I basically took my baby's life by feeding my baby to death. Horrible. Rest in peace to them. Rest in peace.
And who pastor this is?
I'm so damn sick and tired of our women always wanting to shake their ass. You go to brunch shaking your ass. You in the club shaking your ass. All in the grocery store shaking your ass. In the middle of the street shaking your ass. Please get somewhere and sit your ass down. That's right.
And who pastor this is?
I'm so damn sick and tired of our women always wanting to shake their ass. You go to brunch shaking shaking your ass. You in the club shaking your ass. All in the grocery store shaking your ass. In the middle of the street shaking your ass. Please get somewhere and sit your ass down.
I love it. I love some good old pastors that's going to teach the word. Go on, baby. Tell them, sit your ass down. Always twerking. All that damn twerking. But he knows that we're not twerking everywhere, but I have seen it. He said he's tired of seeing black women always shaking their ass. Every time you go on Instagram, shaking their ass twerking. You twerking at grocery stores, you twerking in restaurants, you twerking at your children's graduations. Sit your ass down and stop looking stank. Okay? So go on, Pastor. I'm not going to be mad at him, even though we're not all doing this. It's been a significant amount where he feels he has to speak up as a man of God. Sit your ass down. Y'all can't be out here looking like you know what constantly. So let me just play it one more time. I think that was a word.
And who pastor this is?
I'm so damn sick and tired of our women always wanting to shake their ass. You go to brunch shaking your ass. You in the club shaking your ass. All in the grocery store shaking your ass. In the middle of the street shaking your ass. Please get somewhere and sit your ass down.
That's right. Have y'all seen that woman's video explaining why everyone's applications are getting rejected when they're applying for jobs? Watch this.
Stanford just released the biggest study ever done on AI hiring tools. And it's uncovering this massive web that's answering the question all of us are asking. Why does my resume keep getting rejected for jobs that I am completely qualified for? And I'm going to be honest, this study has changed the way I think about every application I've ever sent. 90% of companies are using AI to screen applicants before a human ever sees them. And the interesting thing is that most of these companies are using the same few vendors to do that work, meaning it's the exact same tool, just used in different companies. And it's probably everywhere that you have been applying. Here's how it actually works. You apply to a job, and then the company sends your resume to a third-party AI tool. And that AI platform gives you a score, and then it sends that score back to the employer. But that score doesn't disappear or get regenerated with every application you send. Sometimes it holds on to that score for 330 days. So when you apply to another company that uses that same platform, you're not getting a fresh start. You're just getting that same score again. And the research is real. They tracked over 4 million applications across 156 employers. And when they found that the people who had applied to multiple companies who were using the same AI tool to screen, the rejection rate was a little too high to be coincidental. So they're calling it systemic rejection. The study is called Algorithmic Monocultures in Hiring, if you want to check it out. But just know that if you've been sending applications out and hearing nothing back, it's probably not your resume. And this is just another reminder that we're not living in some glitch. It's effectively one score for 330 days for every company that you're applying to. And this is why laws like the ones Colorado is passing right now are going to be imperative to the future of job applications and hiring. I'm going to continue to report on this, so follow, like, comment if you want to know more about the systems that are actively working against you in your job search. And feel free to share this with anyone else who's being actively gaslit by AI on a daily basis.
Have y'all seen that woman's video?
So basically, it's not in your mind. A lot of people said it's AI, damn it. AI is doing this. And this is disgusting to me. This is horrible. You know what? It said she said again, 90% of it is AI that's rejecting people. The only thing I can tell you to do that I think might work, you have to put the keywords what's on the application. Use some of those keywords on the resume because it's a computer scanning everything. So if they said we're looking for a person who does this, put that in your resume that you do that, you know? Also, stop putting that you're black on your application. When you have to fill out stuff, stop putting that you're black because I guarantee you them racist ass AI filters is just throwing people's resume away for saying they're black. Claim all your damn race. Say you're black and white, and if you got Native American, put that in too, or put other. Is that actually inaccurate for most of you? No, not really. It's not. So I just stop putting that you just black, because they're using that against you. I really believe it. So stop putting that down. Okay. So this is absolutely horrible. Mr. DMC says AI is going to be the death of society. Yeah, a lot of people, if you rely only on computers, sometimes the computer might get things wrong and put in the wrong information. What if somebody has a surgery and they have the computer saying this person needs a hip replacement, and they actually needed to have something completely different, and they end up doing that? Watch all these lawsuits come in. Everything is turning digital. I don't trust it at all. These damn hackers are getting smart. I have a fear that once everything turns digital, the hackers are going to get everybody's information. They're going to blackmail people. They're going to take people's savings, and people are going to take their lives or commit murder, all types of stuff with everything going digital. So, okay. Speaking of money and stuff, I shared this earlier. Zoran Mondami, a lot of people are getting happy because he got the rent to freeze. It says New York City Guideline Board votes 7-1 to freeze rent for nearly 1 million stabilized apartments, fulfilling one of his biggest campaign commitments. So, okay, let's see more of what they're saying. It says New York City has officially approved a historic rent freeze for 1 million rent stabilized apartments, protecting 2.4 million tenants from rent increases on both 1 and 2 year lease renewals. The decision fulfills one of Mayor Zoran Mondami's biggest campaign promises. Throughout his campaign, he made freezing rent for rent stabilized tenants a cornerstone of his platform, saying that the working class New Yorkers should not face rent hikes while the cost of living continues to rise. While the mayor can't freeze rents by executive order, he used his authority to appoint 6 members to the 9 member rent guidelines board, giving his appointees a majority after months of hearings, testimonies from tenants and landlords, and a review of economic and housing data. The board voted 7-1 to approve the rent freeze. Hold on. Sorry. Hold on for a second. Supporters say the move will provide immediate financial relief to millions of New Yorkers struggling with housing costs. Yeah, because rent's like $4,000, and represents one of the most significant tenant protections in recent city history. Landlord groups, meanwhile, argue the freeze will make it harder to cover rising maintenance, insurance, tax, and operating costs. The vote marks a landmark victory for the tenant advocates and an early policy win for Mamdani's administration on one of the defining issues of his campaign, making New York City more affordable for working people. Ooh, okay. Way to go, New York City. New York is the example now. Yeah, because the rent was absolutely insane. The rent prices is absolutely insane. The average rent in New York is $4,000. Okay, tiny studio apartments costing thousands of dollars. So now they're not going to increase the rent any fucking more. Fuck that. Okay, he was able to get that done. People are happy. Some people are even saying they want him to run for president. Other people said he's a Muslim. This is going to be the end of America, the Antichrist, if this happens. I'm hearing all types of different stuff. So this is just so good. I'm so happy to hear this. Very happy to hear this. But I know this was some good news, but we do have some other things to look at that is a little bit not as good. Let's get more into it.
This is Joyce Vincent. Joyce is the British woman that died in her living room, and it took them 2 years to find her body. Yes, Joyce was dead in her living room for 2 years with the TV still running. Now, I know you like, Jamal, how could this happen? Well, Joyce has an interesting story. Well, first thing, Joyce was not close to her family. She didn't really mess with none of her family members. Joyce was on some kind of rent welfare program where the government paid half of her rent. So the building was getting her rent every month. They just assumed that she was alive. Now, I know you're like, how did they not smell her body? Well, Joyce's apartment was near the trash bins for the building. So the neighbors smelled an odor, but they just thought it came from the trash bins. And her bills were on automatic pay through that government program that I was talking about. So her bills were being paid every month through the automatic pay. So people just assumed that she was alive. Now, her family, after a couple years, after a while, did go looking for her. Like, they called her, they wrote letters. They even hired a detective to find her. But the thing is, her family had Joyce's old address. Joyce moved, and she never gave her family the new address. Now, they believe that she died a week before Christmas. They believe that because next to her dead body was a bag of Christmas presents. She was wrapping Christmas presents, which makes me think, even though she was, not cool with her family, she did love somebody where she went and bought some Christmas presents. She had some Christmas presents she was wrapping to give to somebody. I believe that she was going to get back with her family, and I believe that. Now, how did they find her body? Well, since she remember the government only paid half of her rent, so she still owed the other half. So after 2 years, the building evicted her. And when they went into her apartment to evict her, they found Joyce's skeleton sitting there with the TV still running. I want to know what kind of TV Joyce had. The TV ran for 2 years. Yeah, it's a sad story, man. Sad, sad story. Joyce Vincent, rest in peace. But that's nasty work.
Interesting. He said that's some nasty work. Well, first of all, not everybody is close to their family, and that's okay. It doesn't always happen that way, unfortunately. And I do wonder what kind of TV did she have that ran for 2 years and it didn't catch on fire? The electric bill didn't go up and nobody was concerned. But he said the family didn't have her new apartment. Imagine walking in and you see her just sitting there as a skeleton. That's scary as hell. I can assume she probably had a stroke or a heart attack. That's the only thing I can think of if she was sitting right in her seat and passed away in the chair. I wonder how old was she as well when she passed away. And Lord have mercy. People will say, see, that's just so sad. Most people die alone. Majority of people die alone. You can be close to your family and you can die alone at the house, and you're gone. You're dead. So you're not going to be sad about it. You're not even alive anymore. You've already passed on, and whatever happens after death, and then they find you. So, that's just somebody's going to make a horror movie off of this. Um, you know, damn, 2 years. I'm shocked it took that damn long, though. 2 years is a long time. Nobody to check on you or anything. And then they finally decide to come to evict you after 2 years. So that's crazy. I wonder how old she was, though. I'm going to have to find that out. I'm going to have to find that out.
If you had to live your life again, what would you change?
If I have hurt anyone in my lifetime, I would change that. I would not choose to hurt anyone.
33 years later, when Elizabeth was asked what she would change, she said she wished she had never hurt someone. We all know that answer was meant for Debbie Reynolds. They used to be best friends. Elizabeth and Debbie, along with their husbands, were once a close little circle of four. When Elizabeth got married, Debbie and her husband even stood by her side.
Okay, there's music playing. Sorry about that. I can't show that because of copyright. Let's go to the next topic.
He said, aliens are real, they're here, and I've seen them. Just like that. Just like, here, I'll throw you a bone, kid. And I said, well, are they alive? And he paused and he said, I can't say. I said, you can't say or you won't say? And he said, I can't say. Okay, well, hold on a second. If what you're saying is true, how does everyone not know about it? And he said, oh, lots of people know about it. You could walk into any bookstore and you're going to find all sorts of books on the shelves with lots of truth. But right next to them are the books that we publish, full of propaganda. It's a multi-billion-dollar campaign to cover up the truth. And I was like, why does the truth have to be covered up? And he said, look, we live in a God-fearing country. There's only one thing that keeps this world spinning, gives everybody the control they need. That's the global economy. If you disrupt that by taking away the reason for people to live their lives, everything falls apart, and governments of the world will not be able to control the populace. What's the advantage of giving people the truth? He said, aliens are real.
I know for a fact aliens are real. I know this to be 100% true. I know someone who saw a UFO and it is 100% true. I have seen something before, and it's just, to me, just logic. Why would I believe I'm the only living intelligent thing in the universe? There's over a billion galaxies out there. I live on a planet with different species as I speak. I have no reason to believe that there's nothing probably in the inner earth. I believe there's something in the Amazon rainforest. Everybody keeps talking about Antarctica. I think it's something in the Amazon rainforest. Hell yeah. Predators up in there. Something. I really I believe it. I believe it. I believe. I believe. And he said that if everybody, I don't know, if people found out the aliens are actually here walking around and was here, do you really think people would stop going to work? I don't know. I think it's 50-50. 50% of people already believe in aliens and would be like, I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. Then you have the people who are extremely religious who believe they're the only thing that was created, who would have a meltdown. Um, I don't know if I leave a heart if you think people would stop going to work just because they found out aliens are real, like other life is real. I don't know. Maybe they would just have a meltdown and they want to know what the aliens look like or where are they from, and you know, people will say, "Oh, they're demons." I don't think so. We're not. Not everything is interdimensional. Other things exist. People say, "Oh, you can't get in Earth because of a firmament." There's no evidence. I don't believe in it. Look, I believe there's other things here. I don't have to think about firmaments and dimensions. There other things are here. That's all I'm gonna leave it at. No matter how you think they got here or where they came from, their other things are here. They're not all trying to kill you or eat you, but they exist. Some of them do eat people, and some of them don't. He said the key thing he said in this, he said that the person he talked to said the people who are writing the books about aliens, the stuff you see next to it that looks like propaganda, made up crap, the National Enquirer and all this weird, crazy stuff you think is not real. He basically said it actually is real. We just know you're not going to believe it's real. So we are putting this here, making you think that it's a bunch of nonsense when actually it is very much real. Men in Black with Will Smith. That shit is probably real. Probably real. And he said they need order and for society to continue to work a certain way. It's horrible. I just feel like if aliens are so older than us and so much powerful, why come they haven't revealed themselves? Like just come out like on Independence Day, just put their ship in the sky. Like why don't they just do it and say fuck it, let's just do it. Like we can destroy them in an instant anyway. Just do it. Like, what are they keeping? Why are they so scared to come forth for everybody just to see their ass? If they're more powerful and older, then what's the problem? Plan, please. I'm tired of it. I'm tired. Tired. Summer Walker says she's cleaning houses and apartments starting at $100. I don't have anything against an R&B singer doing this, but I said the fact that she's supposedly one of the biggest R&B singers of today and she has to clean houses to survive, that's telling you the state of music. Never have we ever heard of the top R&B singer in the world in America having to clean houses and apartments. That lets you know that they are not making any money currently in music. Music ain't nothing like what it used to be. We used to have hit after hit after hit every single month. When was the last time you heard a major hit in R&B? Not a damn no damn where. It's horrible. She says that she's doing laundry starting at $50 and closet organization starting at $100. She says just a little motivation to keep going. They were singing my session 32 while I was still in the club, something, my cleaning business, to my first sold out arena tour. Having a hustler mindset just to be in you is what separates you from the rest. There's nothing wrong with her doing different stuff, but it's insane to me that she is considered the top R&B woman and you have to have a cleaning business just to get money. No, that anything again that's telling me how bad the state of music is. Is seriously. Midnight Ballerina. Yeah, she said that too. You know what that is. Yeah, today's music is just, they don't have no soul. Their beats ain't all that. They don't have, it's because they tried to get rid of black women. They tried to get rid of black women in R&B. That's what they did. They tried to replace us with Ariana Grande, and that shit ain't work. Don't get me wrong, she has some songs that's okay. Half the time I can't understand what she's even saying. But that's what they tried. They tried to replace us with other groups of women, and the shit flopped, and the industry ain't been shit since the fucking early 2000s. Whack music videos, whack beats, no flavor, trying too hard or don't even seem authentic. Ah, it ain't gonna never be like the 90s and early 2000s again, no time soon. Mm-mm. Apparently, they have cured sickle cell anemia through gene therapy. The guy is 23 years old, Daniel Cressy. I tell you, sickle cell is serious. I'm not even going to date no man who got sickle cell. And that's something controversial to say. I would ask him, you got sickle cell in your family? Because once I find that out, I might have to rethink dating you because I'm not passing that down to my damn kids if I were to have kids. So, y'all can get mad if you want to, but I ain't playing with that shit. So apparently they have, well, they've cured it. You know what? I'm happy to hear this for him. But immediately when I heard that, I thought of this. I don't know about you, but I look at I you can call me crazy or paranoid, but what happened in the movie I Am Legend? What happened in that movie? They thought they cured cancer. That's what they said at the beginning of the movie. They found the cure. Everybody got that shit poked with the needle, just like they did the certain vaccine. And what happened with Will Smith in that movie? Human beings turned and the world ended. We mutated into some sort of craziness, some beast type shit, like animals, and the world literally ended at large. So when I hear about them curing shit, I get happy, but also I get nervous because in a lot of those films, they think they now found the cure, and then they fucked up with somebody's genes like 28 days later type stuff. And next thing you know, there's some sort of mutation and virus, and everybody end up dead because they thought they cured it, but they didn't really know what they were doing. Like if you're gonna test out something, you need to do a test for a good 12 years, a good 12 years before you release that shit to the public that is cured. We need to see how this thing mutates in a good 5 years. We need a vaccine. If some shit go wrong, you got to think about what can go wrong with the body and the genes, everything. And we got to monitor this person for at least 12 years to know for sure, in my opinion. So they're saying they now cured it. I'm scared. Yeah, they saying they curing cancers and all types of shit, and some I Am Legend stuff happened to us. I'm just saying, it's all anything is possible. So Sonia says she wants a sequel. I heard they're doing a sequel to it. I did hear they are. So I mean, I'm not trying to be pessimistic because I do want cures on earth, but when I see stuff that can go wrong, I get kind of nervous. Kind of nervous. Okay. Hold
What can a bunch of incarcerated men who murdered their wives tell us about the biggest lethality indicators in relationships? It turns out we're getting everything wrong. So researchers have been doing something that most people don't know about. They've been going into prisons and interviewing the men who killed their partners, asking them how it happened, what they did, and how they kept anyone from stopping it. So a 2025 study interviewed 68 men across 9 countries. There were 97 interviews. Every one of them had murdered his female partner. The researchers were looking for patterns. They were looking at what these men did in real time in the months and years before the killing, and 7 tactics showed up over and over. 1, they isolated her from her people, her friends and family. 2, they gaslit her about her own reality. 3, they restricted her ability to work. 4, they vilified her to anyone outside the relationship, her friends, her family, her therapist, his friends. 5, they built alliances with other men who would back his story. 6, they controlled her body, what she ate, how she dressed, whether she could leave the house. And 7, they controlled her access to healthcare. So think about that list. How many of those involved any physical acts or them hitting her? 0. These are the documented tactics that men used in the months and years before they murdered their partners. And every single one of them is nonviolent. Every single one of them, from the outside, sounds like a bad relationship and not a deadly one. A different researcher, David Adams, did his own set of prison interviews, men in the U.S. who killed their wives, and he asked them what kind of men they thought they were. The most common type that emerged is what he called possessively jealous. Not impulsive, not mentally ill, not they just snapped, possessive. These men believed she was theirs, in their own words. So the killers told us what to look for. The patterns are documented. The early warnings are there. And in the next video, I'll show you the filter that catches every single one of these tactics at the sentence level in real time before the murder is the first incident. So follow me for more. I went viral on TikTok from a video I made on Sunday. Since I posted it on Sunday and it's Friday, it has garnered nearly 5 million views and 700,000 likes. And it was a study of 68 inmates who told researchers what they did to their partners before they murdered them. And I connected that to the biggest lethality indicators in relationships. And I need to point something out. In the intervening days, something very interesting started happening in the comments section. And I need to point this out because I have been watching and absorbing and listening. And I can't always respond, but I'm hearing you loud and clear. There were over 3,000 comments. Let's put it at a conservative estimate, a third. 1,000 of you said, yes, that was him. That's what I lived through, or that I am living through. I felt like he was about to kill me, or I feel like he is going to kill me, and I escaped. I hear you. And I need to tell you something else that I'm watching unfold, because alongside those 1,000 women, conservatively, there's another response showing up. That's just one study. That's a small sample. That's not enough. That's anecdotal. I need you to listen to me. The comments are the study. 3,000, let's say 1,000 women independently identifying the same indicators, 68 men described from prison. That's the data. That is convergent evidence from both sides of the same machinery. That is, by every measure that matters, replication at scale. But because it didn't come wrapped in a peer-reviewed journal, and because it's anecdotal, because it's just a bunch of women in the comments, somehow it doesn't count. 68 inmates in a study is evidence, but 3,000 survivors saying the same men did the same things to me is anecdotal. This is the problem. And it's not coming from researchers, it's coming from people in the comments, people in society who would rather dismiss these thousands of women than sit with what they're saying. And that's how it always goes. Women describe a pattern. It's called anecdotal. A study eventually comes out. The pattern is accepted as if it was just discovered. The women were never wrong. People just kept demanding that they prove what they already knew. And what's happening in those comments is that pattern compressed into a few days in public. The study came out. People asked for more evidence. The evidence is showing up faster than I can read it. Thousands of women deep, faster than it can be dismissed. And it's still being dismissed because it didn't come from the right source or there weren't enough correct sources. This is not a sample size problem. This is a whose evidence counts problem. I have a lot more to say on that.
Whew, I definitely feel her frustration. Basically, why are you dismissing what's in the comments? If a group of women are saying at the age of 18, I was touched by my uncle, and then there are people saying we need more evidence, but yet over 50% of women in the comments just told you that I was touched by my uncle. You know what I'm saying? And why won't they listen to what women are saying? Because they don't want the truth. A lot of people in society don't want to tell the truth. They don't want to say who's committing the most crime, who's committing the most murders, who's committing the most rapes, who is the danger, what gender at large. We do have a few crazy women now. We got a sprinkle of them. I ain't gonna lie about it, but they don't outnumber the men. Okay? She says that the men didn't even hit their women. People always think that the men who murder their wives were beating on them. She says no, they didn't beat them. She said they isolated them from friends and family. They gaslit them if they were saying something. They said, "Oh, you're just crazy. You're just making that up in your head. I'm not doing this to you." She says they didn't let them work. Stay-at-home wives, you can't really work. She says that they vilified them to friends and family, always talking shit about you to people to make you look like a crazy person, to make you look like the enemy. They formed alliances with other men who acted just like them, who would take up for them, and they controlled their finances and they couldn't go to the doctor, control their health care. And one of the top things they admitted is that they were possessive and jealous. So, I mean, damn. You know how many of women go through this? A lot of women never thought that their men was going to take them off the planet, especially if he wasn't beating them. You might think, "Oh, he just get jealous. He loves me. He loves me like that. That's why he gets so jealous every time he sees me talking to a man." But he ain't gonna do nothing. He's just like that. And next thing you know, these women ended up 6 feet under. Okay, isolating them. I've seen this. I've seen this before. These traits and nut jobs. Okay. So, um, let's see. Damn, Mr. DMC says men suck. I'm a man and I'm scared of other men. Well, at least you're a man who actually admits that you're in danger from other men. A lot of society doesn't want to do this because men run society at large. So of course they don't want to rock the boat. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy they did this study, but she said also look at the comments and look at what women and some men are saying. We don't have to have all this research from a school to prove something when you can look right in the damn comment section and see what everybody's saying about what happened to them personally. Okay? So I have one last video. A lot of you might know that I am a foodie. I like to cook, and I decided to sometimes share some recipes in here. So if you want to try something at home, go ahead and try it. Some of these recipes I've tried and it's good, and some I haven't, but they look like they can cook. So here's a good chili recipe. If you want some hot dogs with chili, let's see what she's doing.
Y'all ready for the best hot dog chili you ever put in your mouth? Well, honey, I made some yesterday, so let me show you how I do. Okay, y'all, I'm starting off with 1 pound of ground beef. Next, y'all, I'm adding in 1/3 cup of water. Now, I'm gonna cook that up until that meat get good and done. And after it get done, y'all, I'm gonna go in with 5 ounces of tomato sauce. Now, after that, y'all, I'm going in with a 1/4 cup of ketchup, and then I'm going in with a tablespoon of dark chili powder. I'm going in with a tablespoon of paprika, and then, y'all, I'm going in with a teaspoon of cumin. Now, after that, I'm going in with a tablespoon of onion powder and a tablespoon of garlic powder. And then, y'all, I'm just doing the salt and pepper to taste. Now, lastly, I'm going in with some of that Wash Your Sister sauce or Worcestershire sauce. And then, y'all, I'm going to get in there and get that all mixed up. Now, I'm going to let it cook until it cook down and it get good and thick, y'all. That's when that flavor gonna start popping, so let it get good and thick. Now I'm all done, y'all, so I think I'm gonna pour me some on a tater. Yes, baby. Honey, now don't that look divine? Now me and Miss Greedy Spirit finna get off in here and get us a good taste. Lord, have mercy on me. I'm already preparing for these big back activities that's gonna be going on this ship. Now I know y'all asking, what about Miss Wingovia? Well, she
Okay, I mean, that's a basic chili recipe. It looks good. It's similar to something that I made and it was delicious with some beef hot dogs. I don't know about the chili powder. I don't want it too spicy, but follow her recipe, and this might turn out to be really, really good, y'all. Okay, so that is it for today's video. I enjoyed talking to you. Okay, talking for an hour and 5 minutes. Please get those likes up, baby. I enjoy sharing things going on in the news. Also, y'all, check out my recent videos because my videos are being suppressed and it's not something I talk about. My recent videos are not getting views for a very weird reason. I don't know what is going on in my videos, and check out my recent videos, everybody. Okay, you all take care. Bye, everybody. Please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all of you. You all take care. Bye. And I'll be back with more things in the news as usual. Bye, everybody.